Hi, my name is Carly Fitch-Chinnick. Today, I will be discussing the effects of self-talk amongst football players and athletes in hopes to show the significance of how the effects of self-talk can benefit performance cognitively and behaviorally. However, due to the lack of information on the effects of self-talk amongst football players, I had to broaden my horizons and look at the effects of self-talk amongst athletes. Before we begin, I want to apologize in advance if I butcher any of the authors' names. Let's get started. Past and recent studies on the effects of self talk for athletes have shown that this mental technique continues to progress and increase motivation and skills in sport performance. Literature review. What do we know? After researching and analyzing 10 related studies on the effects of self talk among football players and athletes, I found strong evidence that self talk can enhance an athlete's performance based on verbal, internal, and external dialogue that the athlete has with oneself, which is mentioned in a study titled A Descriptive Study of Athlete Self Talk, written by James Hardy, Kimberly Gambage, and Craig Hall. Within the study, two researchers named Hackford and Schwarzmacher, 1993, defined self-talk as a dialogue in which the individual interprets feelings and perceptions, regulates and changes evaluation and conviction, and gives him/herself instruction and reinforcement. Hardy et al., 2001, page 306. What do we not know? We are unaware of the athlete's outside factors, their environmental factors, their physical differences, and their skill level. Why do we care? As an aspiring mental skills consultant, it is important that the use of mental skill techniques such as self-talk continue to be integrated into an athlete's performance training as they are developing other pertinent skills that will increase their overall performance. Prior experiences affect efficacy expectations, and these are predictors that the probability of performing to a high standard is much greater if you believe in your abilities. Therefore, confidence has tremendous power when comparing any fluctuation during performance. Qualitative standpoint. The majority of the studies on this research topic examines both the positive and negative use of cognitive strategies that self-talk can benefit football players and athletes. The research focuses on the positive and negative self-talk and its correlation to the athlete's performance. The first study, titled Effects of Self-Talk on Football Players' Performance in Official Competitions, states at the introduction that, due to the exploratory nature of this study, a qualitative approach was considered appropriate to conduct the collection and analysis of data. Drafty, Sofon, Fawzi, and Breakrey, 2010, page 29. Data collection overall was done through the use of surveys, and each individual survey was analyzed thematically for both positive and negative effects of self-talk. The two levels of analysis emphasized were behavioral and mental. The second study, titled Belief in Self-Talk, a Dynamic Balance Performance. The use of belief and self-talk questionnaire assessed athletes' beliefs in the effectiveness of self-talk to enhance their performance. Both negative and positive self-talk were examined on a scale of 0 to 5. The participants were asked to examine the use of self-talk before and during performance and how it influenced their behavior. Qualitatively, the research provided insight into how almost all participants experienced a variety of self-talk types, and they indicated how they only used positive self-talk in 2 or 3 ways. For example, this group frequently cited types such as focus, which was at 92, with other 3 types assessed also being used by more than half of the participants. Instructional was 67%, calming was 58%, and motivational was 52%. Arica, Minta, Mack, Huddleston, Larson, and Jacobs, 2006, page 6. One specific finding was that the type of self-talk, positive versus mixed, is connected to performance on task, while belief in self-talk was not showing that it would be productive and practical integrated in positive self-talk and physiological skill training programs. The next study, titled Self-Talk and Sprint Performance in Youth Football Players, the emphasis was on how instructional self-talk could help improve performance when compared to motivational self-talk and in a control group. The participants were analyzed on the possibility that self-talk may be used to benefit an athlete to achieve their zone of optimal function, or known as ZOF, Hannon, 1997 and 2000. The ZOF uses the four mechanisms of cognitive, motivational, behavioral, and affective to explain how it may influence performance. From a qualitative perspective, this study provides insight into the use of self-talk and delves deeper into the behavior of its effects. Quantitative standpoint. In this first study, titled Self-Efficacy, Achievement, Motivation, and Anxiety of Elite Athletes, the data collected was represented by the Sport Attribution Test and the Test of Achievement Motivation. The data showed that athletes attribute a lot of their success and failure through internal sporting aspects over external aspects. The data analyzed and revealed that performance accomplishments are the strongest source of self-efficacy. It stands to reason that these performance accomplishments enhance self-efficacy, and these increased feelings of self-efficacy then have a positive effect on subsequent performance. Moulad and L. Carter, 2016, page 48. The research concluded that self-confidence relates to a positive linear relationship on a graph, while somatic anxiety performance has an inverted U shape. The second study, titled It's Good But It's Not Right, Instructional Self-Talk and Skilled Performance, the data collected was represented by 41 male football players in 4 experimental conditions with both self-talk, instructional, motivational conditions. They completed a self-report form and then were scored on each condition for data analysis. The results were analyzed and tested for an ordering effect, and the use of mixed model variance was completed. In conclusion, this study supported the benefits of instructional self-talk. The benefits of instructional self-talk are not as pronounced for non-dominant limb task excavation compared to the much reported performance gains occurred by novices. Hardy, Belge, Blanchfield, 2015, page 137. This particular study presented to practitioners why it is important to consider level of their athletes when building self-talk interventions. Lastly, in the third study, self-talk and competitive sport performance, the data collected was divided into 2 different random groups, one experimental and one controlled, with no significant differences in variables. The 2 groups were evaluated in 2 separate competitions with the purpose of the athletes using the self-talk technique through understanding, learning, and practicing in order to develop their own self-talk personal plan. Based on the results, data analysis, the study showed that self-talk is effective on sport performance in both competitive and non-competitive environments. Mixed methodology. In all the studies of my research, a mixed methodology approach was taken, collecting both qualitative and quantitative data to present philosophical assumptions and theoretical framework. This method led me to believe the researchers wanted to test for better measures of sample by merging 2 data sets to show how the data converge or diverge. The sequential explanatory design involved both quantitative data collection and data analysis combined with qualitative data collection and data analysis, and then followed by the interpretation of the entire analysis. So for my paradigm, I wanted to do post-positivism paradigm because it is relevant to my research studies, because this particular research is committed to creating new knowledge and includes a broad spectrum without personal ideologies, but rational deductions through experimental and observational results. And this is my reference. Thanks for watching, everybody.